So it simply means if I have 20 minutes, once that 20 minutes exceeds, that exam will stop. Once it counts and that 20 minutes has exceeded, that exam will stop. So anything that is above that 20 minutes, that exam will stop. So it will keep subtracting itself from each other until we have discovered that that particular time has been exceeded. This simply means I have a date. Let's say now the time now I convert it to a number, and then I add 20 minutes. I add 20 minutes to that number, and I get the time after. If I convert 20 minutes, if I get a number and I add 20 to it, I can still convert that number into time. So once that time has exceeded, that exam will end. This is a very simple way. I use it in my code, and it's working perfectly. The date method returns the number of milliseconds since 1st of January 1970. So this date method will return the number of milliseconds. The number of milliseconds, and to convert it using this number format, you can convert it to a number. So say the number of milliseconds from 1970, the number of milliseconds from 2nd of January 1970 to 1st of January 1970 is 86,400,000 milliseconds. Okay, so this is the number of milliseconds between this date and this date. So when you do your subtraction, you can still convert that number back into date. When you convert that number back into date, you see that you can get the date. If you want to go back in time, or you want to find the exact date somebody was born, it's very easy using any of these dates and number methods. All right. We have the pass int. This pass int, I've used it so many times in my work. Pass int, it's kind of very interesting method. Pass int passes a string and returns a whole number. So you can have something as a string, but when you pass it using this pass int method, you can convert that string into a whole number. Spaces are allowed. Only the first number is what returned. But these two, see these guys will return none, not available, not any number. Okay, this is going to return none, okay, because you have a string first. But here, 10 will still return because you have 10 first before the years. Here, 10 will also return because you have 10 before the space. The space is like a string, so it won't include the space and 6. Okay, here it won't include the space and years. Okay, all right. So if somebody actually, this is also something that can be used to make corrections. Maybe you told somebody to put date of birth for you, and maybe you not use calendar method for it. Follow me, or if you told somebody to put age, good age. Like I have had some of those issues where you tell somebody to put his age. Instead of the person just say 25 and leave it. The person might want to say 25 years, 30 years. Okay, with pass int, you can solve that issue. So that even if somebody made a mistake and put 10 years, it will still just get 10 for you. So you'll be wondering why you made a mistake somewhere, even on but it's as if Facebook corrected you or Instagram corrected you or that particular website or application you're using did the correction for you. It is some of these things. You as a developer have to look ahead and see some of the problems that you might be having in future. When you're receiving age of somebody, the person telling you history. Some people might like even yes, you might have restricted. That's where validation comes in. There are many ways of restricting what people enter, but in case the person actually entered 10 years, you can still get just the 10 from the person using this pass int. I've used this pass int several times, and it's really a beautiful tool to use in JavaScript. All right. The pass float method returns a floating point number. It's just like pass int, but in this case, pass int returns whole numbers. Pass float will return floating point numbers for us. All right. It converts strings to numbers, but can also include floating point numbers. All right. While your pass int converts a string to numbers, but it will only include whole numbers. Like this 10, this minus 10.33, it will remove the 33. Even 10.33, it will remove the 33 and give you only 10. So here, pass int will only return whole numbers for you. All right. So if any number that cannot be converted will return none, not any number. Okay, not a number. Right. These number object methods, will belong to the number object. Number is integer, returns true if the argument is an integer. Yeah, you use all these things for testing. Anything that returns true or false is usually used for testing. This is an integer. It's also used for all this validation. If it's not an integer, tell the person that, oh, please, the person puts a wrong number. Maybe it's not meant to have points. Okay, we have number is safe integer, returns true if the argument is a safe integer. Number does pass float, converts a string to a number. Number does pass int, converts a string to a whole number. Number methods cannot be used on variables. The number methods above belong to the JavaScript number object. These methods can only be accessed like number.integer. Number.is integer. Using x.is integer, where x is a variable, will result in an error. Type error, x.integer is not a function, so you don't use variables for this. You only pass, you have to put the value inside this as you put it as an argument. You don't say x dot, where x is a variable holding numbers. No, it will give you an error. All right, so here we're testing the number is integer method, returns true, the argument is an integer. So the second guy will return false because the argument is not an integer. Here it is a floating point number. So it's going to return false here. All right. So let's go ahead and check is safe integer. So you see, this guy is a safe integer. Okay, but this guy is not a safe integer because it has exceeded the total number of length of integers available. I can't remember the total number. I know that it's up to 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Good. I know that the number is usually 19. The safe integer number is numbers up to 19. Any other thing is what we call infinity. All right, anything above it. In fact, infinity is 19. Anything above infinity is no longer acceptable. So it's no longer safe. All right. So we also use this to resolve errors and all that to be sure that something is safe before you start using it to do anything. Safe integers are all numbers from minus 2 raised by 53 minus 1 to plus 2 raised by 53 minus 1. Okay. This is safe. Why this is not safe? Okay. This one is safe. This one is not safe. All right. The number pass float method returns a number, but a floating point number. All right. So they said the number methods, number.parseInt and number.parseFloat are same as the global methods, parseInt and parseFloat. The purpose is modularization of globals to make it easier to use the same JavaScript code outside the browser. All right. The number.parseInt method passes a string and returns a whole number. Spaces are allowed. All right. These are more like a repetition for emphasis. So at this point, we're done with our number methods, and we'll be going over to our number properties in our next tutorial.